Today we're going to talk about the boring but essential part of filmmaking and running a video business. Let me give you a quick table of contents. We're going to talk about contracts, invoicing, insurance, taxes, and most importantly, a work-life balance. I don't know what that was. Before I start talking about these points, I'm just going to say I'm not a financial advertiser or from any traditional business background. I'm just speaking from my personal experience over the last however many years. Like I said in the last sentence, to protect myself, we use contracts for the same exact thing. I made the mistake of not doing this earlier and it's cost me a bunch of money, but that's how you learn. Make sure you have a contract for everything you do to protect both sides. Within a contract, the main things you want to have included are scope of work, payment terms, deadlines, and rights. I try to be as detailed and as to the point with all my contracts, stating all this information so that both parties involved know the expectations from each side. Another thing is to make sure you know what your contract actually says. There's been a lot of times where you might just copy and paste something you see off the internet and you don't know what it says, so take the time to know what your contract is saying. Contracts are super important because it can save you, and it saved me multiple times from doing extra unwarranted work. The contract secures your payment, but invoicing is how you actually get paid. You can either do this manually through an Excel template or through a software such as Wave, QuickBooks, or whatever else is out there. Within each invoice, make sure to include your billing info, the receiving end's billing info, details on what your invoice is for, and if you have a tax number, make sure to add that in. If you don't have a tax number, please don't tax people randomly. Also, add the payment date. This can be either some date that you come up with, a net 15, net 30, net 90, and in worst cases, net 365. To be completely upfront, I'm still figuring out taxes, and I don't think you need to really think about this until you have your tax number or you start a proper business. Even with that in mind, lock in a good accountant that understands your industry so that when tax season eventually comes, you're not like this guy over here.
Man, I'm dead.
If your car needs it, if your house needs it, your equipment definitely needs it. When you're ready, get equipment insurance. And if you need, get location insurance as well for bigger shoots. I don't know what else I can say about that. Just get insurance. This might be a little controversial, especially in our generation, but I'm not a big fan of hustle culture. I'm a big fan of living. For the longest time, and especially through COVID, I was working nonstop. It got to a point, actually multiple points, where I was about to hit burnout, but somehow I made myself delay it. When it did hit me super hard. Just before that burnout, I also went on my first vacation in forever, and no, I won't stop talking about that because it was an amazing experience. With working nonstop, delaying burnout, and that vacation of sorts, I realized I was working too much on my business and not myself. So take this however you want. I'm just gonna urge you that your filmmaking or whatever you do is a part of your life and not actually your life. Another thing I really wanted to talk about is budgeting, but at this point, we'll just make a part 2 and talk about that, plus a couple of more things.